name is Jobless.
Hi, Temmie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm alive.
First of all, I'm going to say very big thank you for doing this because I know you don't do interviews. I know you don't do interviews. You don't talk to anybody. I was trying to look for a few interviews online. I
have just very few from when I was still doing media tours and everything.
Yeah, why you don't like to talk?
I enjoy talking. I just don't enjoy talking to people that are dedicated to misunderstanding me.
Misunderstanding you on what basis?
I feel like everybody interprets information from their level of consciousness, and sometimes you say something that meets somebody else the wrong way, and they just twist words, they pick out what they want to pick. I mean, everybody's talking from their own reality, so
so you've always talked from your reality. That's what
exactly.
And sometimes it's hard for a third party to understand what the reality is.
Especially when your reality is not conventional. So
that's a deep one. When your reality is not conventional, what's conventional to you?
Well, I think based on how the system is set up, based on how the society is set up, there are some things that are acceptable. There are some things that are deemed normal. And when you deviate from those things, you automatically become the black sheep. So basically.
I saw a picture of you when you were 19, probably 2021.
Okay.
What you look like is totally different from what you look like now. That's a big transition.
Huge one.
Yeah, because that's tiny looking version kind of
Mary type person.
Mary type of person.
That was the brand. That was the point of the brand. That was the brand. I just deviated from being a brand and became a human being. So
you deviate from being a brand to
being a human being. Yeah.
For me, I think this is the brand. That was you being a human.
That's the thing. Exactly what I said about your reality not being conventional. Because when you think about it, it's easier to push somebody that looks like that. Simple, quiet, gentle. Not too many opinions, just voice. So it's much easier to handle people like that.
So how did you transition from being that Temmie, the Mary Temmie, to this Temmie? I mean, the piercing, the tattoos, those were there. It wasn't in that picture. No. What happened? What was the point that you felt like okay,
so I actually just always liked tattoos. I just needed to be financially independent enough to at least try and get and when I got the first few and I liked it, I just kept on getting more. It's as simple as that. It's just as simple as I like it and I got it. It's as simple as that.
How many do you have?
What? I've lost count.
Damn, look at you.
I've lost count and I'm still getting more.
Wow, it's beautiful though.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I like it, and I like the fact that it's independent. Like you could this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be, and you were ready to go for it.
Exactly.
How about the piercings?
I like them too. I'm stretching my ears at the moment.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just like it. I just like body modifications, and body modifications are actually very African. They started here. Yeah. I'm currently doing some research on old Yoruba body modifications. Like a great grandmother has had body modifications. My grandmother had tattoos at the back of her legs. She had like a comb. My mother has a tattoo, as much as she doesn't consider it a tattoo anymore. When she's telling me not to get tattoos, I'm like, you have one. But I feel like, just colonialism makes us believe that some things are inherently demonic.
Yes, you're right. But all those things actually doesn't determine who you are.
At all.
It is like the situation with the churches, right? People will tell you when you go to a church is a different feel, but the truth is, I think you can relate with your God without going
as it should
to
be.
A church.
As it should be.
It should be in your.
It should first start with you personally.
You get, and you being in a society that a whole lot of people are very judgmental, and you go through you do these things with full confidence.
In my chest, audition.
I can see that. You have audition on your chest, true.
Audition.
how were you able to? How are you coping? Because I know it's never going away. They will always come for you. How are you coping? How are you dealing with all this pressure?
It just doesn't matter to me anymore. I feel like when you've been bullied as much as I've been bullied online, you either back down or just come 10 times harder. And I'll come 10 times harder every time. Every time.
Why do you think people choose to bully you?
I mean, people are bullying each other. I'm not the only person. It's just a very unkind world. Hurt people. Some people need it as therapy.
True.
Some people just go online. They are frustrated by. I feel like most of the times when a person is bullying me online, they've never met me. They are bullying the image they are seeing online. They're not talking to me. Yeah. So it doesn't really affect me. Yeah. It used to bother me at first. I mean, nobody starts hearing that go and die or something and you like it. But it gets to a point when you realize that I can't say that to anybody. I don't meet people, and funny enough, I meet a lot of people and they're like, oh, you're so nice in person. I have strong socio-political opinions. Doesn't make me a bad person. So,
true.
Exactly.
True.
So.
And your socio-political opinions are a bit
controversial.
Over the top.
Exactly. I feel like one thing is there's no socio-political opinion I have that I cannot back up with proper research. There's no socio-political opinion I have that I cannot, if you take the time to sit down with me and let me trace everything back, I can always point everything I'm talking about back to a particular source. It's not, my socio-political opinions are not rooted in judgment towards any particular group of people. Yeah. It's just any demographic that needs to be called out to do better should be called out to do better. I have certain privileges that I don't deny. It's like somebody talking about probably how much they don't have in their account, and because I don't want to feel bad about how much I have, I'm telling them to stop talking. I have privilege. I acknowledge my privilege. So if I'm calling out people that have a particular privilege and I'm telling them, okay, look at this, you can do this better, I feel like that's how society is supposed to be. We've not lived this life before. We've not lived this current existence before. Yeah. I feel like we're living in severely unprecedented times. This is
it is unprecedented.
We're so self-aware.
We first of its kind.
Exactly. So I feel like the whole point of being a human is to be open to evolution.
Funny enough, I think for me, I think this is actually one of the best times to be human.
Exactly.
You know, one of the very good times, because right now you can express yourself the way you want it, and your core fans will always be your the people they won't go anywhere.
And because at the end you're not expressing something that is isolated. We're not as special as we like to think we are. There's nothing I'm going through that I can find like 20 people in just this building that can relate in some way to some things I am going through. And that's how human beings are. We have things that we all relate to. So there will always be people that listen to what I'm saying because I'm talking about what they are experiencing too.
True. And that's the way your music is too, because you always sing about your reality, and a whole lot of people can relate. So where did you grow up?
Ilorin, Kwara State.
But I read on your bio that you're from Imo.
See, let me tell you, I don't understand the people that used to talk those talk. They're just talking their own. Because I don't know. I've heard many things about myself. Even me, I'm usually chilling and just ready to hear the next gist. What do you people say about me again? Oh, okay, I gave birth. Nice one. That's it.
So you're from Ilorin 100?
I'm from my dad is from Ondo State. My mom is from Osun State. My stepfather is from Delta State. I grew up in Ilorin and Ibadan. So,
Wow. So how did you know you can sing?
I did not ever know I could sing. I just started singing and I've always singing. I've just been singing since then, since I was a child.
Since you're a child?
Yeah. So I was in the choir, the adult choir, when I was 8. Yes, I used to sing in children's choir, and then they heard my voice and transferred me to the adult choir. And from there, I've been singing.
So that means you're a really church
my
growing up kind of person. Ooh. Are you serious?
Yes, she is. And I always say that if more Christians were like her, I'd probably not have an issue with Christianity, because she's one of the most accepting Christians I've ever met. It's one of the most... She's just ready to learn. She's ready to listen. She's ready to understand your reality. She doesn't come with judgment. I mean, that's the only way you can have a child like me in Nigeria and not be estranged by now. So yeah.
Wow. And how did she take all this points, tattoos, piercing?
That's the thing. I have very solid boundaries. I've always been my own person. So, and she knows I'm a very quiet person. I'm usually inside. So the tattoo stuff, I'm the one saying it most of the time. It's just people that see me online. So yeah, she just knows that it's me expressing myself. I've always been very expressive. I've always been into creating. I studied medical anatomy, but I always wanted to study fine art. We had a fight over that, but eventually did the fine arts anyways. I've just always been artsy. So she gets that it is the curse of the artist to be wild sometimes.
Is there anyone in your family that's like that? Maybe it's actually genetics?
Funny enough, my mom is the one that I can say is actually more of the rebel in her family. Because she's the only one I've always seen standing up for other people. She's the only one that I've always seen having strong opinions. Even in the church, I've always watched her stand up for women and stuff like that. In her own way, she does exactly. So sometimes I think about it. You literally we're the same person, just different parts of life. That's
I guess that's why she's able to just
we have conversations. We talk like friends. We have conversations. We interact, and she listens to me. I listen to her.
Yeah, more reason why you would not give a fuck about anything, because
my mother
as long as your mom is that's interesting though.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it actually helps in our church, because she said recently more othered people have been drawn to our church, because they think about it. If you can be my mom and be understanding, then they feel very comfortable telling her things they wouldn't tell their parents. And also
Wow. How about your dad?
My dad is late, but my stepfather is in Lokoja. He's a professor of political science. So, yeah.
And he likes it?
It's none of his business. It's none of his business.
Wow.
It's my body. At the end, it's my body. So, but funny enough, he's also very chill, pretty chill. But then again, as I said, it's none of his business.
I've noticed that most times what you stand for has always been a right for women, right to be yourself,
inclusivity.
You're always like that. How did that come into play?
Well, my reality is pretty. I've lived a life where I've always felt othered. Even when I was in the midst of people where I was supposed to feel like, yeah, we finally made it, I didn't feel like I made it. I didn't feel like I made it at all. I feel like I was at my worst state when I met my idols. I feel like it's a thing to look up to people and be like, yay. And then you finally meet them and it's just, no. So, yeah.
Yeah. When you say idols, like who?
Not necessarily a person. Okay. It's just a group of people. But then I feel like that also came from personal projection, because sometimes you see people on the TV and just assume that they are more human than other humans, and then you meet them and they're just human beings. So that, I feel like that taught me that at the end you just have to be yourself, because if you are dying, you're going to die alone. And I know that I'm not going to die with regrets. I don't ever want to die with regrets, because I've been around older women, actually older Nigerian women. When you hear their stories, a lot of them have regrets. They have so many things they didn't do with their lives. As
a matter of fact, right, I talk to people that are like twice my age, just for this reason,
exactly. Me too. I enjoy talking to older people.
65
yes
70, 75, and I'll be like, is there anything you regret? Is there any regret in your life? And they have stories to tell you. And one thing I've always taken away from most of them is I did not follow my art.
Yes. Every time.
Yes, they will be that like, always I wish I knew that I should have followed what my intuitions,
what I feel like doing. Exactly.
But they never did. Yes. And I think the societal pressure is part of the reason, because they're always like, what would this person think?
Exactly.
What would this person say?
Exactly.
But it's a new world. I tell new cats out there, see, follow your art.
Yes.
just do it.
Just do it. Just be yourself.
Just be yourself and enjoy the ride. Sometimes it might work out the way you expected it
and
to.
And definitely come consequences.
Yes.
You cannot follow your heart and not expect the consequence of it. Like, there are some things I do and I'm ready for the backlash. You have to factor it in when you're putting some things into. I mean, it's like releasing my album. I released my album. I was ready for the backlash. I was genuinely ready for the backlash. I got this tattoo when I released the album. It's like, okay, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But I did this for myself. I did this for people like me, but mostly for myself, because when you put yourself first, it's just easier to keep going.
So singing at 15, before 15, you've been singing since you were 8. You're already in an adult choir. So the music thing has always been.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did it get professional? I know there was a time you were discovered by YBNL, and was that the point?
That was when it got professional.
Oh.
I was just singing in my room before with my guitar. Just singing in my room.
So Olamide saw you online?
Yes, online.
Or your show?
Online, yeah.
and he reached out.
I'd never been to Lagos. He just reached out, and yeah.
You've never been to Lagos at that point?
At that point, I had never been to Lagos. Lagos was like London to me. Also, Ilori is very small, and everybody treats Lagos like it's some London, one beautiful place. You just come and make riches, and your life is better.
Yeah, but at that point when you came to Lagos, and you were, I mean, for a couple of years that you started with YBNL, you were buzzing. Everybody knows YBNL Princess. Like, okay, YBNL Princess, right? She's the new kid on the block. And so what happened?
Life. Life happens. I feel like, personally, on my end, I feel like I did my best. But sometimes you put in your best and people have other plans. And at the end, you need to move past that to keep moving forward. You can't hold it against them, because at the end they're people too, and they're coming from different places. So as much as I definitely know that there are people that should take responsibility for certain things because it could have been handled better, I saw, it's like you see your dream in front of you, then you see it sliding away because people are not paying attention. Not the fans now, it was well received. It's just to be able to continue doing that and have consistency. When your consistency is in the hands of another human being, it's not the best way to go.
Do you think that might be a little sense of entitlement?
I feel like the moment you call me up to come and do something out of an entirely different town, you give yourself that responsibility, considering the fact that I never asked for it. I never tagged anybody. I'm a very proud person. So even before I blew up, I wasn't tagging people on my music. So if you stumbled across it and you chose to, I feel like communication too, because I wasn't even asking for much. As I was telling you outside, I just came here to sing. And that's honestly been my drive for a long time, and it still is. So yeah, I don't think it's a sense of entitlement when somebody brings you in for a business. I don't think it's entitled at all.
Was there a written contract?
Yes, there was.
Sealed and signed?
There was.
Okay, so both players has their fault in between.
Well, yes, I feel like I could have done better by understanding what I was getting myself into, but I was a child. So
the reason why I talked about entitlement is I've seen people in this kind of situation, right? That at a point, right, whoever is investing or whoever the label is, they want you to move.
Exactly.
You go. They want
you
you
can't
to
blame them for that. That
yes,
is
yeah.
the
Like
rationale.
okay, Yoruba used to say "Omotoba Shekpa," right? Lamangbe. Right, so if they've invested to a point, right, they want you to get going, move on your own, you know, do things on your own. Now then they can now be like
that's
support.
the thing, you're talking about that means you're talking about a structured organization.
Yes.
There was no structure. There was no structure, and one thing that comes from a lack of structure is everybody assuming that things are going fine when nothing is going fine, because everybody's assuming that somebody's doing. Because all I had to do was record, which I did. I recorded 3 albums. I was recording back to
You had 3 albums with YBNL?
I was recording every day.
3 albums?
Yes.
Were those albums released?
No, they were never released. So I was recording. So I feel like on my end, I was ready to do what I was told, I was recording. That's actually why I said I'm just going to be myself, because I feel like there was a part of me that was even holding back on certain things I wouldn't have tolerated normally because I wanted things to move. But what I can take from it is it just comes from, I genuinely believe that it just comes from the person in charge being very lackadaisical. It didn't come from a place of ill intent, which is why I don't necessarily hold it as a judge of his character. But it did waste my time. And as I feel like it should be normal to talk about how you did not like being treated a certain way, regardless of how much money was involved in it, because my life is more important than money. My mental health is more important than money. I will stand on that any day. I have lost millions because of the things I believe in. I would rather lose money than lose myself. So yeah.
That's deep. That's very deep. So recording 3 albums and being part of that film, do you think that maybe the transition could have been a problem? And what I mean by the transition is the way you were, what they saw, for them to say, okay, let's work with this chick, right? Then along the line you started changing.
The only explanation I got was that it's harder to push female artists. That is where and honestly, yes, it is.
It is.
It is. No, I'm not even going to dispute that fact, because I did not know how hard it was until I made friends with other female artists. That's why I talk about misogyny a lot, because at the root of everything is misogyny. It's not that anybody is trying to be wicked to you because they hate you. It's just the way the system is set up. If you have to pay 1 million naira for something a guy would do, you probably have to pay 2 million for something a girl would do. So,
or you pay by kind.
Or you pay, and if you can't pay in kind, that's a problem, because I can't pay in kind.
I don't know why that is though, but sincerely, most female artists that I've spoken to...
I do know why that is.
Okay, can you please enlighten me?
It is the system. It is the structure of the society. If you live in a society that inherently believes that somebody is bigger than the other, they would always favor the person that they consider that is bigger than. So it's misogyny at the root of everything.
When you say bigger than the other,
I'm talking about gender now. I'm talking about the social norms. And it's, if you live in a society that believes that, because I'll go for interviews and the question I'll be getting is, so when are you going to leave music and settle down? And have you ever asked a man that question? Or I'm preparing for something and somebody's calling me up to be like, oh, you've gained weight. Have you ever said that to a man? Have you ever considered the fact that a man is getting fatter when he's on the stage? You're just happy that he's there. You're happy to enjoy his music. I want to do the barest minimum too and be done with it. Because at the end, I'm incapable of doing anything that is just barest minimum. Even at my most average, I'm the shit.
So would you call yourself a feminist?
No.
Okay. What exactly do you represent?
I used to call myself a feminist, but I realized that there was too much explanation. When you call yourself a feminist, people are expecting you to be like, no, I don't hate men. So now I just say I hate men, so that we can dead the conversation there. Which I don't, of course. But we can dead the conversation at I hate men, because I don't want to explain myself anymore. Because if I'm talking about they are raping us, they are killing us, and the next thing is he hates men, you are not listening to me. I said they are killing people. People are hurting over something. You want to make men the victim in a conversation that has nothing to do with how they are being treated. I mean, it makes no sense.
Do you know that there are guys that go through this too?
Oh, definitely, but not because of their gender.
No, because I'm actually referring to because of their gender.
I would like to enlighten me. How
there are guys that still get the backlash of being fat.
Does it affect their financial independence?
Absolutely.
Oh, how often does that happen?
Not as often as being a female.
Exactly.
But
and it's not like that's the thing. I feel like people don't understand that you can talk about oppression without making it seem like. I was having a conversation with my mom recently, and she opened my eyes to a very, very new perspective that I'm just working on understanding.
Okay.
So I used to be this person that, I'm oppressed because of this, I'm oppressed because of this. And then she mentioned to me that, do you know that everybody is oppressed in one way or the other? If somebody is not suffering because of their gender, they're suffering because of their health, or they're suffering because of their sexuality, or they're just some people are suffering.
Yeah. True.
And that was a perspective I did not understand until recently when I had that conversation with her. So yes, I'm not disputing the fact that people are going through things, but it's like somebody saying that, oh, they're killing us here because we're black. That is mentioning the problem and mentioning the reason why. Now, that's not disputing the fact that white people go through issues too.
True.
But at that moment, if I'm talking about what a black person is going through, I'm not trying to dispute the fact that you're going through something. I'm just saying that this is what I stand for. This is the conversation I am bringing to the table. Bring yours. Let's talk about it, because the point of being in society is to get to a point where nobody is going through any kind of struggle because of anything that anybody is perceiving them to be. So yeah. So it's not disputing the fact that it's Nigeria. I feel like you are definitely going through something. The way the system is set up, you're going through some pain or the other that nobody knows about, that you don't talk about. So it's not me disputing the fact that men go through this or they don't go through that. But I'm tired of having conversations. I'm talking about how somebody is going through this, somebody's going through this, and they're bringing up. That's not the moment for that. Not on my conversation, not on my time. Because I never disputed the fact that you're going through something. If you notice it, whenever a man goes through sexual abuse or sexual harassment, feminists are the ones that support them. During the Lekki NSAS protest, I mean, the SARS was killing a lot of men.
Yes.
Women came out. I was out. I'm a feminist. That's what people don't understand. Feminism is not about, oh yeah, you to go and chop oppression. Feminism is, we need the world to be better. The way to make the world better is for people to understand the role they play in oppression. I've played roles in oppressing people without knowing that.
True.
And in taking responsibility for my actions, I can call others to take responsibility for their actions. Because sometimes we think we're very small and our actions don't mean anything, but they do in the long run. Yeah. And sometimes it's just something very little you're doing. You don't know that it is promoting harmful stereotypes. And the point of interacting as human beings is to open our eyes to different perspectives. I love thinking.
So for me, there's one thing about feminism that I know. Sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't.
Of course.
And for me, it's all about equality. You know, I don't think in 2022, right, people should think one gender is better than the other gender. No.
I feel like you just ended years of arguments. No.
Yeah, no.
It's just as simple as it could be as simple as that.
But then again, the reason why I said sometimes I don't agree is there are some situations.
Oh, of course.
There are very few situations that you know that come.
Yes.
Being a female, you're not even supposed to do this. So why would you want to do this and think it's because we're equal?
In what sense?
Let me say some certain kind of labor might be too strenuous.
That's the thing. That's also rooted in misogynistic rhetoric. Because there's no proof that you are inherently stronger because you're a man. Funny enough, people say that, but when you actually do your research, society was not built based on who has the most muscle. Society is set up in such a way that diversity is supposed to be a thing. There are women that can lift, and there are men that don't want to be stressed. There are people that can do manual labor, and there are people that can't handle it. I feel like it shouldn't be if somebody wants to do it, if a woman says it's physical labor that she wants to get invested in, I mean, that's her call. Yeah,
but if you look at it biologically, right? There's a big difference. That's as a medical anatomist. Having 9 ribs, compared to someone that has 7 is a big difference.
Men have 9 ribs?
Yeah.
Wait, let me check that on Google.
At least
I want to believe we don't have the same number of ribs, men and women.
Hold on. Sure. I need to check it. But actually, that still does not.
Please confirm what I just said, because I can say nonsense at times.
But I think the claim about that is like maybe because of pregnancy.
Is actually.
I don't think so. Men are getting pregnant.
I would like to. Yes, men do get pregnant.
Yes. So
men do get pregnant.
So, but I don't think it's the same number of ribs. Confirm for me, Emmanuel. You're taking too long.
No, I'm checking.
People have 12 sets or 24 ribs, no matter their sex. There's no.
So that's same thing as
See, there's so many things that are
24 ribs.
Yeah.
Each person.
regardless of the
Man and woman.
Yes, and then I
Wow.
feel like another argument that people have.
Do you know this 9 and 7 ribs thing?
It's from the church.
I learned it from the church.
It's from the church. It's from the church.
I learned it from the church.
It's from the church. See, I feel like what whiteness has done to the world, we cannot start repaying it now. They've pushed out a lot of, because if you're talking about biology, say, people use biological analysis to support their biases against trans people.
Yes.
And
Actually, 24 ribs, everybody has.
yes.
For real?
I've dissected bodies. I didn't see the difference between the anatomical makeup of a man and a woman.
So if it's the same number of ribs, then women are stronger.
That's the thing.
Women
That's the
are
thing.
very
What I
good.
believe.
Women are stronger.
Funny enough, what I believe is, I want a society where nobody has to be strong to be valuable. Like, nobody has to lift metal to be worthy. You lift because you feel like lifting. I feel like I want a society where you don't want to be the one carrying this thing. Let me go and make, like, life should be as simple as that.
But Temmie, I've seen situation where a male trans person, right, get into a competition with other females.
That's another
Right.
another bias
And
that actually has not been proven. And let me tell you,
And it is a wretched.
let me tell you. So there was this situation that happened recently where a trans athlete, female trans woman, got into a competition with cis women, and they were last position. Nobody's genetically predisposed to certain things or predisposed to something just because I'm like genetically predisposed to like strength and all that. I mean, it could happen. It could be that way because of maybe your individual makeup. Or people are genetically predisposed to that. Yes, it could be that way because of your individual makeup, but it is not rooted in your gender. And then there's another thing people use. They use biology, but funny enough, using biology automatically negates everything you're saying, because even in biology, it is society that considers XX, XY chromosomes.
Yeah.
But you could be here and have XXXY, XXY chromosomes, XXX chromosomes, XYX. Like, there are many. That's intersex people exist. So if we're saying that, okay, man, woman, where do we throw the people that are not made up that way? Because scientifically they exist and they're not an anomaly. Because if it's more than 50 people, there are millions of intersex people in the world. So if it's more than that, that means that they exist. They have always existed. Society just has a tendency to box things and be like, oh, you're strong, you're a man, because if you're going by beauty standards beauty standards currently in the world for women, you think about things like, they say it's men that have broad shoulders. I was born female, I have broad shoulders. I have hair on my chin, I have hair on my chest. Out of nowhere it started growing. And there are many women that way. So I feel like at the end, even science can be questioned.
Absolutely.
Because science is constantly researching. Science is not the absolute. We had our own methods of research before we were colonized.
Yeah.
And funny enough, there are systems of writing, there are things that white people push as theirs now, but some of them are from Africa, some of them are from Chinese medicine, so it's whiteness.
It's whiteness. Right.
I feel like they've corrupted the world to the point where you hear stories of your ancestors doing something, and it was probably your great grandmother that was doing the heavy lifting, and they brought all these things, and suddenly people are so suffering from severe cognitive dissonance, because when you say things like, oh, Jesus Christ is this, you do not take into consideration that this man was wearing gowns and walking barefoot and probably was like a weird ass person then, and the church was literally after him and killed him. The Pharisees killed him. So Jesus was that person that stood against oppressive structures, but people will not see it that way. If Jesus was alive this day, we'll still kill him because he will have been a weirdo. It doesn't. I feel like he's not. No normal person goes into the bush and go and sit down there for 40 days and 40 nights. He was saying things that people were not saying. So
I know that there's so many bogus stories when it comes to what Christianity preaches and what the book says. That we know. But at the same time, we as Africans, we actually need to start embracing what we are,
and telling our own
which
stories.
is a major problem, right? Because everybody just wants to behave like the Western, right? Nobody is actually looking at, okay, before these people came, how
are we living?
How are we living? How are we doing our things? There's so many. I mean, I know so many guys that they are from like the aunt's family, like or they this one or they this one. This guy is not even aunt.
Yes, my family is Odewale. Yes, from Ode family. I've never entered the bush. So yeah. So there's so many things that I used to call it unlearning. Yes,
yeah,
it is.
Yes, because I've had conversation with so many people. I'm like, see, we as Africans, we need to start unlearning so many things, especially this new generation.
Exactly.
See, for our grandparents, our parents, it's too late.
Of course,
they're already too deep into all these things.
They don't even see your perspective anymore. That just.
Do you ever listen to Mommy Gio? The popular Mommy Gio on the internet.
She irritates me. I don't know how to take her seriously, so I can't. If I'm listening to her, I'm just listening to her because I want to catch cruise.
Do you know what baffles me? What baffles me is there are people sitting down in the congregation, right, and actually listen to this woman.
I mean, I feel like some might not believe that they're just going to church, and that happens to be the person talking to them. I want to believe that, because if you're believing what she's saying, you obviously she's a compulsive liar.
Is that lying?
I feel like it's either now. I don't honestly,
because I don't see it as lying. I just think she's saying things that
she's saying her own truth.
Yes, true. I just think she's saying her own truth. Maybe those are the kind of stories she grew up with.
Listen to.
Yeah.
And then I feel like one thing I noticed with some certain spiritual people is they tend to confuse symptoms of severe mental illness with spirituality. And as somebody that both suffers from mental illness and is spiritual, I can say that sometimes you don't need a mic, sometimes you need therapy. Yeah, sometimes you need therapy.
That's really serious.
Yeah,
because I know there's a whole lot of online bullshit that you watch that you just be like, oh no, this one is therapy. This is not natural. No. And the society that we live in, there's so many people dealing with mental health issues that they don't even
acknowledge. They don't even have the resources to, all the time. I feel like you can't even be chasing your mental health up and down when you need to eat tomorrow and you need to go to work. What's time to be thinking of all that?
And you don't even know what to eat next.
So you can't. Especially with Nigerians, there's some things I just don't even blame Nigerians for. It's like, if you're surviving here, well, good job. You're trying your best. You're not dead. Good for you, man.
If you're surviving here as a Nigerian and you go through all this, so how about people like you that go against the norm and set their own core values, right? How do you survive?
If honestly, I can only talk for myself, because there's a certain amount of privilege I've had that's made it possible for me to be myself. Because when people ask me things about, oh, should I come out, should I do this, I always say, do what is best for you, but always expect consequences. Because as much as it would be delusional to expect everybody to accept you, and sometimes it's even delusional to expect to be safe after you do certain things, and that's what I personally am trying to, because it's not fair to be unsafe just because you are this kind of person, especially when you're not hurting anybody. So yes, I feel like more people need to speak up, especially for those that can't afford to. Because I can't imagine what it would be like to be somebody like me and you're living less than 500 naira daily. What's the expression? Just need to eat.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So would you see, do you see yourself as an advocate of that community?
I wouldn't call myself an advocate. I feel like that's a very tasking role to put yourself into. I just do my best. Because I would have loved a life where I'm just myself and it doesn't automatically turn me into an activist. But it is what it is.
But do you even know it's illegal in this country to be in that community?
No, it is not. According to this thing, is it SNMP or marriages, gatherings, it is not illegal to be queer. It is illegal to participate in queer activity. It is illegal to get married. It is illegal to just express your sexuality. But it is not illegal to be, it's not inherently illegal to be queer. Because that would be a lot of people going to jail, man.
You think so?
That is
you
what
think
the
there's
law
a whole lot of
says.
people who are dealing with that right now?
I can just that I know, just queer people that I personally know, I can list 100.
Wow.
Yes, that I personally know off the top of my head. But that's because I'm invested in community anyways, but that I personally know. I feel like if you have a gathering of 10 Nigerians, at least 2 of them are queer. It's just we've learned to hide so much that you will never, and I'm all for people protecting themselves. If you have to protect yourself and hide, please do the needful and do what you need to do for yourself. If coming out is the best thing for you, do the needful and do what you have to do for yourself.
So did you come out?
I didn't come out, they pushed me out. They did. I'm not even joking. I feel like I just handled it with grace. I'm like, okay, you people have outed me. Now it's about to be a queer place in here. It's about to be all rainbows. Because I was minding my business. And Linda Ikeji, God bless her heart, and Instablog, whoever that person is. Yeah. They saw me in a YouTube video with my friends. I was just hanging out with my friends, but my friend happens to be queer, and they pushed me out. And that was all I needed, just a little push. I'm like, okay. Because I was tired of even dodging questions. I'll go for interview. Instead of us to be talking about my music, they are talking about, and we heard that you like Kenya, you heard that, you heard yes.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean, for me, I have a whole lot of gay friends, right? But probably you're the first gay person I'm going to talk to on the show, right? But for me, personally, I don't see anything wrong in people being what they want to be
in the confines of their room.
I mean, whatever you want.
There are very few.
Whatever you want to be, just
that
be.
Are trying to flaunt it.
Yeah, just be yourself. Just be yourself. And enjoy the trip. Just be yourself. As long as you're not hurting the next
another human being.
I think it's. I mean,
as simple as
in
that.
2022, people should start to see people for who they are.
They are. Because again, nobody even chooses to be. If I wanted to choose a baby girl lifestyle for myself, sweet life, I think I'll come here and be gay in this country. My life would have been a lot easier if I wasn't. Because that's the truth. There's so many things I can't do because I'm queer. Yeah. And it's not even because anybody's trying to be wicked to me. It's just, okay, my friends are going to hang out and there's one rich man that is going. I can't, of course I cannot go there. I'm just going to be there to say hi and be the third party. And the way the system is set up, is set up in such a way that a lot of women are actively involved in work that requires men to thrive, and that is the issue I have, because a lot of those of us that cannot now cater to that demographic.
So how did you know?
I just knew. The same way you knew you were straight, the same way you knew I just knew. It's like I even got in a lot of trouble because I didn't know I was supposed to hide it. Because I used to make a joke that I was the only gay person in Ilorin. So I didn't know.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
You've been like this before you came to Lagos?
Oh, of course. No queer person just ups and is queer. You're queer from when you're... I mean, since when I was playing with my Barbie dolls, they always got married to each other. And I didn't know I was supposed to hide it, so I got in a lot of trouble. I would send text messages to girls with my mother's phone and go for deliverance sessions afterwards. And I told God on my 18th birthday, if you do not take this thing away, then it's about to be. And did not take it away, because I still woke up and I still like girls. So I can't keep myself.
So is it that you don't get attracted, or
I'm not attracted to men at all?
You don't
no
get
matter how
attracted
beautiful
to men.
the man is.
Wow.
No matter how hot he is. I mean, I can see a fine man and be like, oh yeah, you're fine, good, nice, chop no cool.
Never been.
I've never been with a man.
Never been attracted to him.
Wow. But you think is biological?
I mean, there are many lesbians in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it's biological. I don't think anything is. I mean, there might be research eventually that is genetic.
Yeah.
I don't know, but from my own reality, I just always liked girls. And that was how I was. Like, I was growing up, I would have crushes on my friends, and I'm like, okay. I didn't put a label on it because I didn't know what it was until it was when I grew older that, I was like, this is what they call it. Oh, okay, that's what has been happening to me. So yeah.
Wow. So when you're in your sexual mode, are you like the top or the bottom?
Okay, so that question, I feel like lesbians get that question a lot. I am on the asexual spectrum, first off. So as much as I experience attraction, I don't experience sexual attraction. And I feel like that's the intersectionality of things that people don't realize. That there's so many factors, there are so many things in the queer community. There are asexual people in the queer community. Asexual people are just people that don't experience any form of sexual attraction. The only thing is, I know that I like women, but I'm on the spectrum means that I'm not. It's not like I'm actively sexually attracted to anybody. That's asexuality. But I know I'm a lesbian because if anything happens, it happens with women. So yeah. Yeah.
You know, I used to.
So I'm not as sexually active as people like to imagine in their heads. But you know, people like to think of what is happening.
Funny enough, there is.
But yes, sorry, the question you asked, just in case, I'm a bottom. I'm the bottomest bottom that has ever bottomed in the world. I am a power bottom, but a bottom nonetheless.
I used to tell my girlfriends that if we happen to get into that spot, I'm the top. There are women that are top, but me, I know my place. I'm a bottom. I've tried the other. It did not work for me. I'm a princess. Please. So, do you think about having kids sometimes?
No, I don't want kids.
Ever?
Please, I cannot bring another person here to come and just be stressing over this life. It's not worth it. Let's just live our life and go. I don't want to bring another offspring into this place. But I might adopt eventually.
Yeah, you're still having kids.
That's eventually, maybe when I'm like my 50s, when I've done what I want to do with my time. I'll just be like, okay, let me take care of some children that don't have privilege and go somewhere and adopt children.
So I'm just speaking based on their generation.
Oh yes.
Right?
Yes.
I don't even think there is a point of reconciliation when it comes to that conversation.
The thing is, one thing I've realized with my mom, just talking from my own personal experience because I can't speak for everybody, is I drew the line because I know that at the end I still had to look out for myself first. So after drawing the line, I explained, but then I didn't have to talk too much. Again, remember, I've been getting in trouble since I was like 8 years old for writing love letter. So it's not like it just started. It didn't come as a shock to her.
Writing a love letter to.
I used to like I was a poet. I'm
a poet.
I'm a writer now. So when you are blossoming as a poet, you have to show off your skills.
To another girl.
Yes, I used to get a lot. I would send text messages to my friends. I used to think it was just friendly. She's my friend. I love her. But I did not realize that other girls were not going through that. You don't love your friend like that. I didn't know. But my mom quickly noticed that it's like something else is going on here. And so I used to be in church. I was in the church for like a few days, like 3-4 days. I've bathed in they've done everything. If there's anything that I know, I can say for a fact that if God wanted to deliver queer people, He would have delivered them, because He did not deliver me. If there's nothing I did not, they bathed me in river. I went for baptism. They locked me up in a church. I was reading Bible inside water. Like, there's literally nothing that has. And that's the reality of a lot of queer people. Once they find out. So eventually I just have to be like, if you don't want me to run mad, just don't stress me, because I've tried. I know I tried. I feel like some people even like I didn't take it at first.
You know, you being like that from a very tender age gives me another feel about this whole thing, because the place you grew up, I'm very sure there's no influence. There's nothing that influenced you to be like, do you know what it means to grow up in Ilorin?
Yes.
It's either you end up being an afa,
thank you,
or you end up
that was the reality of it.
But
there was no such thing as, you didn't even know the name for it. I didn't even know there was a name for it. Like, it's just how some girls grow up thinking, oh, this is going to, my husband is going to. I wasn't thinking of all that. So yeah.
So what would you tell a girl that is 15, 16, 17, 18 now that are going through this kind of experience?
It's going to be hard. You have to learn to love yourself. You have to learn to accept it. You have to learn to accept yourself, because you're going to spend your life fighting it. You're going to spend your life fighting it. It's like you waking up and somebody tells you that you can't look at that fine woman that is passing on the road. You can't. You're going to fight it. You're going to have to spend your life fighting that. It's going to be an active battle in your life. Exactly. You're going to have to consistently fight it, because even people that say that I've been delivered, you can't tell me that you did not see that random woman walking by and look at her and like, okay, I've been delivered, I'm not looking at that. That was literally what I did when I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this. No, at the point where I was like, okay, I'm just going to be born again and not. I wasn't saying, oh, I'm not queer anymore. I was just saying I will suppress it. So it's not about. That's why queer people can get married. I mean, it doesn't stop me from. I can have sex with a man. That's why queer women get married to men, have babies with men, live their entire lives, and live in the closet. They live hiding. There's so many people hiding. There's so many people that are married in active heterosexual couplings that you won't know the kind of life they are living underground.
As a matter of fact, I've heard gist of men, not even females now, like men that are actually married and they're still into men. There's a whole lot of them out there. Active men. Yeah. And
because that's what society does. All you do at that point is, when you want to hide, you just learn to hide it. There's no it leaves my body. I would like to see the queer person that has been delivered, that no attraction.
I saw one on YouTube. There's one
no attraction again.
There's one video on YouTube that one pastor, I don't know if you saw it, and one pastor healed a guy. I said, I'm not gay no more. So the news, like after a couple of months, they saw him in the gay club again. Like, yeah, the video is on YouTube. Like they just saw him in the gay club again.
It comes as naturally as anything. It's just natural. I'm not trying to. That's just how it is. It's not me trying to be anything or.
But you know that there is no way we want to have this conversation that this older generation will understand this.
Of course not. I'm not even expecting them to understand again. Now it's long thing.
Wow.
Not even expecting them to understand. Because at the end, a lot of people are not... sometimes we assume that the audience is straight. But in that audience that you're assuming is straight, there are lots of queer people. Some of them are hiding. Some of them just don't have the balls to even acknowledge it. And some of them have just resigned to life. So...
And some of them have just accepted the fact that there's nothing they can do about
it. Because it's at the end, it's not an illness.
So especially in Nigeria, we have so many active gay people that are just underground.
Yes.
Yeah, because the society does not allow it to exist. You get, but I'm sure there are bodies that are helping people like that too, right?
Oh yes, there's Tears, there's One Action Foundation. There are organizations that are dedicated to helping queer people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and are they functioning?
They're functioning. Yes, Tears is functioning.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. I'm just hearing about them.
Oh yes, they are. I feel like at the end, when you automatically start looking for people that are like you, and that's why we find it, because I mean, it's not really in your realm of this thing to go out looking for that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to this gender thing now, it's crazy. The last time I checked, I believe it was Tinder. Right, the classification of gender.
Yeah, their options.
It's over 50. Yeah, it's close to 50, and I'm like,
because I feel like people don't realize that gender is an expression. Everything you consider to be your gender, to be manifestations of your gender, they are taught by society. Because if you look at clans like this Fulani Wodabe tribe. Yeah. The men paint their faces, they use makeup, and the women pick the most beautiful man. That's their culture. That is masculinity. That is what it means to be a man in that culture. You come to some other cultures, and what it means to be a man is to wear trousers and suits. And the man in that culture is the direct opposite. In this culture, you think that man is feminine, but in their culture, that man is a man. So yeah.
You know, I mean, a couple of years ago, about 2-3 years, I know there is somebody that went to the House of Representatives to actually go speak for LGBT community, so and they were all mad. Like they were all mad. No matter what you want to say, we are not going to accept that here. You know, they were all about. But that lady, I don't know her name. I wish I could sit. I wish I could. I'll look for the video. I wish I could sit with her and have a conversation, because so many people don't actually understand how these people feel. right? And even in America, it took time
Funny
to
enough,
actually
they are still,
accept
and
them.
again, even in America, gay people are still going through oppression. It's not like it automatically stops them from being punished or beaten or people spitting at them in public. I mean, the fact that law accommodates it, that's the barest minimum. You can't make people automatically be open to something that they've been taught to hate.
How much do you think being gay influence your music?
100%. Positively and negatively, because I have days where I'm genuinely upset that I'm gay, and I feel like
Upset.
every day, yeah, there are days I don't like it. There are days that I think of life and I'm like, oh, look at my friend, she got this and she got this from a man, and I'm like low-key jealous because not because she got it from a man, but because I live in a society where there are some things that are actively given to you when you interact with men sexually. Because again, in a patriarchal society, most of the time sex is transactional, even if people pretend it is not. So yeah, there are some things that my friends will get, and I would have to, just hustle for it. Because no, I'm not, but then again, I believe that is work, because I believe that sex work is work. It is work they are doing. It's not play. I can't do the work they are doing. But if that was in my realm of possibilities, I feel like I'll have more options on the table. But now that is off, I'm like, it's really, and sometimes people don't realize how it's a very lonely existence when you're a lesbian, because there are very few people that can understand what it means to not be attracted to men at all.
But do you also think that there are so many girls out here that is just based on influence?
Sexuality?
Yes.
I don't think sexuality can be based on influence. I don't think sexuality can ever. The reason I believe that sexuality cannot be based on influence is, I mean, I understand if probably you're trying to spice things up in your life.
No, I'm talking about peer pressure now.
Peer pressure cannot bring out something that is not there.
You think so?
Especially when it comes to sexuality, because the people if a woman is, sexual behavior is different from sexuality. That's another thing. What you might be talking about is sexual behavior. Yes, peer pressure can influence your sexual behavior. You can be a girl and wake up and then you want to try it. Now that is sexual behavior. That is not your sexuality. It is not a burden in your life that you're waking up and you're like, hey God, I don't want to look at this girl today. That is sexuality. Sexuality is inherently part of you. Sexual behavior is, okay, I want to try this. Who is down to try this? Okay, let's do this. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, I don't like it. I like it. Let's keep it moving. Or I'm doing it for a reason. That's sexual behavior. And that is why who you have sex with does not automatically determine your sexuality. Because again, sexuality is not a function of what your body can do. Sexuality is inside. Just as gender is
inside, yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. So when you see likes of Bobrisky, James Brown, what do you think about people like that?
They're living their truth and they're loud about it. Might not always agree with what they say, but I'm proud of the fact that they can live their truth in a place like this. The world is out to get them, and if they're loud as fuck about what they're doing, then thumbs up to them. I don't always agree with their person, but it doesn't mean I have an issue with who they are inherently. I don't necessarily agree with some things they say or do.
Do you actually think is there truth to be like that, or it just happened?
I don't think anybody is like that just to be annoying. I don't think anybody wakes up in a country like this and chooses to be that person because they want to just chase clout. They just happen to be that way, and they happen to be people that are expressive. And if you're expressive and you're that way, automatically is too this thing already. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
Let's go back to music. That's an handful of wisdom there. I mean, you're quite vast in knowing what you're doing. I can tell that you didn't just jump into it. You took your time to actually know that, okay, this is who you are. And one thing I've learned about life is the first thing about you being human is understanding who you are.
Exactly.
If you don't know
it
that
gives you
one,
such a sense of power. Yeah. Because at the end, you are who you are. I feel like that's why, regardless of how much people liked my music then, I wasn't enjoying the attention. I wasn't enjoying the fame. I wasn't enjoying it at all, because it felt like it was whoever they were seeing then was not me. Because I was just man, but I was singing for a man. Man changed lyrics, lemewa. And there was no man. It's just.
So do you think that could actually be part of the reasons why your label had a fallout?
There's some things I don't say about them because they have brands that are connected to certain international bodies that would not take well to the kind of people they are inherently. So just as a form of grace, I don't say certain things about them. But yes, I did have some issues, despite the fact that I was hiding in the closet. I was hiding. Jesus Christ, what did I not do? Hey, I was hiding. And at a point, somebody there told me that, not Olamide, let me clarify this so that that doesn't go back on his name. Not him. He has never directly had any issue with me.
Yes.
But the people in the team, somebody called me one time to get a boyfriend and pretend. Then I didn't even know that they had caught on to it. But then again, if you are as gay as I am, there's no way people will not know eventually, because I wasn't necessarily trying to hide the woman I was with. So that also might have caused a lot of, what is this girl doing? Do you want to put us in trouble?
Yeah.
But then again, I'd rather carry the trouble myself. So if it's trouble you're afraid of, let's be going so that I can handle my trouble by myself.
So towards the end of last year, you released an album.
Yes, I did.
How's
Not
it going?
an album, like an EP.
Like an EP.
Yeah.
How many songs?
7.
7 songs. What was the reception like?
I don't really bother about reception. I just put things out there.
Are you serious?
For the sake of my peace of mind, please. When I have the mental energy to handle reception and focus on that, I will. For now, I'm focused on finding myself. And I'm focused on building something that is authentically me. So eventually, when I have I always say, like, I'm the kind of person that would drop something that is very important, because that day my mental health is shit. And that's what people don't realize. Mental health is not, you don't control it. So there are days I genuinely cannot handle things. There are days I genuinely, one phone call and I'm out and I want to sleep. There are people that don't have the energy for all those interactions.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why I go burnt out really fast. Sometimes I say I grew up too fast. I would have preferred to probably be 25. I'm 25 now, and just be entering the industry. I'd understand a lot of things better. But as of then, I was just a baby trying to sing. So, yeah.
Yeah, but now that the baby is grown and and you know what the music you're putting out, what it can get you, and you're not paying attention to what your reception is, don't you think that's not fair on you?
I feel like that's the fairest thing I've ever done to myself. Again, I said for the sake of my peace. Because there are things that I wish I was doing, but I need to make a certain amount of money first. I need to eat. I'm not down for all that pretending to be rich when I don't have money. And I was doing that a lot before. But I don't lifestyle. Me like it. I don't like life where I want to enter keke and somebody's saying, if I give you punch, see me, if you cannot pay the 100 naira for the keke for me, be going. I want that kind of life. I don't want to be going out with bodyguards. So at the end, I also want a controlled audience. And that's knowing my capacity as a human being. It's not a reflection of how much talent I have or how good I am. It's just a reflection of how much I can handle. And being someone who has been on the stage and performed to millions of people, I can definitely do that if I don't have to be the one involved in the intricacies. But when it comes to having to interact with people consistently and keep up with numbers, I'm very terrible with keeping up with numbers.
Wow. So being a super talented human that you are you open to a new management?
Oh, definitely. It's just, yeah, I'm open to a very open-minded management.
Open-minded management.
Because I'm not down for, I've experienced freedom and I'm not down for anything less than that anymore. I would rather work than have to sacrifice my freedom again. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't nice at all. I was so depressed.
Sincerely, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand where the other party is coming from.
Definitely.
Everybody has a story to tell, and in between, I'm happy that at least there's no bad blood. Everybody moves on. We're doing well, and which is the most important thing. The peace of mind is there, right? So what should we be expecting when it comes to music now?
I'm currently working on an album. It's titled Space Fuji.
Space Fuji?
Yes, Space Fuji. Like Fuji, intergalactic Fuji, alien Fuji. So it's I'm merging Akpala, Juju, Fuji with lo-fi, synthwave, cyber music, lo-fi music, merging electronic sounds with.
And it's not out there.
I don't call myself Alte.
Wow. Space Fuji.
Yes.
That's weird.
It's just so
Yeah.
it's supposed to sound. I'm going to play something for you maybe when we're done with this.
Okay.
It's supposed to sound like when we're done. I'll play something.
Mhm.
It's supposed to sound like you're on psychedelics, but you're on psychedelics in the village.
Very different.
Very different. So, you ever been on psychedelics?
Yes, I have.
Oh, which one?
Shrooms.
Shrooms. You like shrooms?
Well, I don't get it as much as I would like to.
No, you don't. What's your experience? Your first experience on shrooms?
Well, I just felt like everything I was thinking of. It just felt like confirmation, like affirmation. It just felt like I was not being crazy. Like I wasn't being crazy or being weird at all. What I was thinking was actually real, and the things I thought I was saying were actually real. So yeah, I feel like it just normalized what's going on in my head.
Yeah, I think there's something about having those experiences at least once in a lifetime, because it opens up who you are.
Exactly.
It reveals
I
who
feel
you are
like
to
you can't take psychedelics and go back to the person you used to be.
Yes.
Just,
They make it illegal, so everybody involved will not
but
get
funny
it.
enough, they actually started doing like some research, and I heard that in Canada they're using it to treat depression now,
Yes.
like microdosing.
Yes,
and
yes, they microdose. They bro.
Even churches, even
Bro.
Are you
spiritual
serious?
experience.
Yes, they do. And there's something about this thing that they just don't want people to know.
Exactly.
Because, see, Baba, I came to my truth after that experience.
Yeah.
I actually realized that, oh,
This is the way life
mo kàn sọnù láti joy the sha.
Honestly.
Because it makes you understand that, okay, this is what life is. This is what death is. This is where you are.
I think there's so much technological advancement, but that spiritual level, nobody's even paying attention to that.
Yeah.
No, I think they are paying attention,
People are actually paying
but they don't
attention. They
want
just don't have as much
people
clout.
to know. That is why they made all those things illegal. They don't want people to know. They don't want people to see it. You get, because it
Because
opens
people
a
will
new.
wake up.
It opens a new layer,
Yeah.
bro. You don't understand. I had a dead experience. Like I was out of existing for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
But when I came back to life, I felt like that's my 6 hours was actually less than 20 minutes. I had an experience for like 6 hours
Yeah.
in another realm.
Yeah.
But when I woke up and asked them how long was I out for, it was like
Yeah,
20
because
minutes.
the consciousness
But
is
you
not
see,
bound by
that 6
time.
hours is the best experience of my life. Is the best experience of my life, because I felt like I found myself in a new world,
Dimension.
and I was in a new dimension, and I was able.
Have you tried ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca.
Get out.
I'm actually scared of ayahuasca because I know that would just break me, to
But
just tear me apart.
It's actually insane. It's
It
insane.
is.
The kind of picture you get, the kind of questions you can ask, and you get the answers, and there are points that you even see things mocking you.
Yes.
And they tell you, why are you taking your life so
Clearly,
serious? I
like-
think,
Yeah.
Timmy, I just get you 100% now. Because sometimes I ask myself that, how could you be in Nigeria and be so bold, to go through all these challenges? And I know there are down times, but the fact that you wake up the next day and you still pick up your phone and tweet and say, my neighbors are making noise because they are fucking each other, and I think I'm going to use their church sound to sleep with my wife. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know the tweet you're talking
That
about.
was crazy. Like I was like,
You know, the funny
oh
enough,
my God,
funny enough, I always say that if you stay around me, most of the time you realize that most of the time I'm actually just being sarcastic.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
some of the time I'm just catching cruise, but because I understand that Nigerians are,
Take it personal,
They
take it serious.
it's like I enjoy having conversations with people that don't take things too deep. It's like you're just making a joke, dark humor. Somebody's like, hey God,
It's never that
it's just a joke.
But
Just keep it
then
moving.
again, if you look the way we grew up, and the way most of us are raised, you won't blame them to
Of
think like
course
that,
not.
because
Of course
all these
not.
things they are inbuilt from when you're a baby, right?
Yes.
So it is hard for you
It's-
to
it's
grow up with a certain
programming,
mindset
indoctrination.
for 20, 30
And then
years and
to
just
just
want to change it
it.
overnight.
Yep.
It is difficult.
It is.
Wow. So when is Space Fuji coming out officially?
I don't know.
You're still working on it?
I'm producing everything myself. I'm doing it all myself. So I'm working on it.
You're not working with any outside producer?
They can't get the sound in my head. That's why I had to learn to produce. I learned to produce because of the album. Because there's a sound in my head that I cannot explain that sound to somebody else. It has to be. When you hear it,
I think they can. I think there are producers
but
that can. I think there are producers that can.
Yes,
that
it's just
can,
to find the person. And that
yes.
process of finding somebody is work, man. But when I eventually find somebody that I would love that. But yeah, I'm not going to handle the mastering, the mixing and mastering anyway. So.
Oh yeah, I think I know some couple of guys that think like you.
Oh, I would love to meet them.
That would love to work with you, because I know how they think. I know some few strange people that will say, I know they can think like that, so I know they'll get the sound. Okay. Yeah. So I think it shouldn't be just you, so that you can open more doors. Sometimes when everything is being produced by you, they all sound like you
the same way. Yes.
And sometimes it's good to just diversify, go into other sounds and see what the results will be at the end of the day.
Gradually, it's a long life.
Yeah, true. I really enjoy talking to you, and I'm sure there are so many people that are going to enjoy this, and your DM will blow up there. The fact that you are even confident about everything, I'm sure it's going to be an encouragement to a whole lot of young girls out there that are going through the same experience, and we're looking forward to new music.
Yes.
Do video for us now. The last time you did a video is like 3 or 4 years. What's happened?
That video, again, I said for my mental health. I'm going to do a video though this year.
Please do.
I've opened my my YouTube to subscribers so that I can gradually build
what's your
subscribers.
YouTube channel?
Temmie Ovwasa.
Temmie Ovwasa.
Yeah, Temmie Ovwasa. So I want to. Yeah, I'm going to do videos. I've been coming up. I feel like another thing is Nigerians are so used to fast food music.
Fast food music.
And honestly, fast food, just like fast food is important to society, fast food music is necessary, but you can't expect every artist to be able to do that. I can't do that. It's just I need structure. I need to have a theme. I'm the kind of person that needs to know exactly what it is. I don't know how to sing just to sing. So yeah, gradually I'm going to do videos. I was also a bit withdrawn when it comes to like videos for a while because of the images I want to capture. I've been looking for a way to capture images without breaking the law.
Without breaking the law.
Yeah, I mean, just find a way around the law. I mean, that's the whole point of existing, playing their games and using their rules.
Is it not funny that when you go against their regulation, it's felony? But when they go against it,
that's the whole point.
It's politics.
That is exactly how the system is set up. It's like it's thieves catching thieves and liars catching liars, and everybody pretending to be good when they're not. Nobody actually wants to do the work to be a good person. People just want to be like, yes, I'm a good person. What makes you a good person?
You really can't tell right from wrong. Because depends on the situation.
That's how human beings are. I feel like that has made it easier for me to just let go of some things people have done to me, because those same people have been really good to some people, and that's my experience with them. Just the same way some people have had experiences with me where I was a really shitty person, and I've been a really good person to some people, just based on who I was at that moment in my life. So
on YouTube, Temmie Ovwasa.
Yeah.
What about your Instagram?
My Instagram is YBNL Princess. Unfortunately, I've not been able to change it. Twitter is the Temmie Ovwasa.
The Temmie Ovwasa on all platforms. YBNL Princess on Instagram. Okay. I don't think you should change that. I think you're still the princess.
I mean, I'm still the
YBNL
princess.
does not have any female artists till date. No, they don't. So.
But I would absolutely love to change it. I mean, I'm my own person now. That name itself is inherently misogynistic. Nobody was calling Leokesh YBNL Prince.
Jesus.
But it's true. If you think about it, the way it was set up is, she's a girl, she's coming to be the princess. I'm daddy. I only call myself a princess because that's how I expect to be treated. But
your daddy.
I'm daddy. Any day, anytime.
YBNL daddy.
Exactly. But they put princess there because it's a girl, and automatically I had to fall into that box, which is something I feel like a lot of people will be grateful for, and inherently I'm grateful for the exposure it gave me.
Yeah.
inherently at the end of it all. I got exposure
Yes,
from that. I left Ilorin because of that.
Yeah,
so
we
I'm
still can't
genuinely
deny the
grateful
fact
for
that.
I will never
it
ever
was,
take away from what they
did a whole lot too.
They did a whole lot. They did a whole lot. They literally changed the entire course of my life. So I'm grateful for that. So yeah.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for
It's nice talking to you, and I would love to talk to you again.
Oh, sure. Once I hope I'm in the headspace to get out of my house.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.